Don't miss the Green and Growing Show in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Eagle TV. Ellis County Horticulture Agent Holly Dickman will identify common lawn and garden issues while providing up-to-date information. Watch weekdays in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Channel 14 or 614. Green and Growing, brought to you by Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40, and Eagle TV.
With our current weather conditions, it takes a real expert to create landscape that'll thrive. Riedel's Garden Center has the staff with the expertise of water requirements for plants, lawns, and landscapes that'll stand up to our changing weather conditions. With 25 years of hands-on experience, owner Darren Riedel will customize a landscape design and irrigation system to meet your expectations and our climate. It's recommended to protect your lawn using Fertilome products available at Riedel's Garden Center, an authorized dealer. Call or stop by Riedel's Garden Center today.
It's gardening season, and a lot of people love to plant tomatoes and grow them throughout the summer to get that really nice harvest at the end of the summer. But there are some issues that we do have with tomato plants, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the disease problems that you can see. One of those is called, well, two of them. They're fungal leaf spot diseases, Septoria leaf spot and early blight. And so these are fungal diseases that usually show up at the base of the plant first. And you'll notice some spots on the leaves, a yellowing of the leaf, and then as they progress, they kind of work their way up the plant. Now, this is something that happens every single year. It's in our soil, but there are some cultural practices that you can do to help maybe lessen this or reduce the effects of this disease. One of which is simply your watering methods. Watering tomato plants, it's ideal if you do not get the leaves wet. Now, we've had lots of rain this summer so far, and so that's kind of hard to do, but you can go ahead when you water and make sure you just water down at the base. Make sure you're just watering the soil and not the leaves. Try to water early in the morning, or make sure there's enough time for those leaves to dry off before we get into the evening and nighttime hours where they would stay wet for a longer period of time. The other thing that really helps if you have a large tomato plant, now these are just containerized smaller type tomatoes, but if you have large tomatoes in your garden, make sure that you have them staked up or caged. That will help allow airflow to move through and dry those leaves off quickly. Tomato plants that are left to sprawl tend to have possibly more issues with those diseases that I mentioned. Now, another thing that is really important is mulching. These container plants, even though these little tomatoes are in containers, you can still mulch. Out here at the Ag Research Center, they use pine cones, which is a really easy mulch. Works pretty good, and it keeps farm cats out too, I've found at my house, so I like that idea. But you can use straw, grass clippings, other sorts of mulches around your plants, and this helps to prevent those raindrops that fall from splashing that soil up onto the bottom leaves, which is how that fungus gets onto those leaves in the first place. So there's several different cultural practices that you can do to help prevent these things. However, sometimes the weather plays against you, and you can have these diseases regardless of you doing everything right. So in that case, there are some preventative fungicides out there on the market that you can use as a preventative basis. So a fungicide, unfortunately, is not going to fix whatever is already damaged or diseased, but it will stop that disease from getting onto those nice green leaves that do not have the problem. So there's several different fungicides out there on the market. The most commonly recommended one is chlorothalonil, which can be found in a product called Daconil. I know you can find that one in town, but there's other things out there as well. So look for a fungicide that has early blight or Septoria leaf spot on the label, and spray that as long as the weather is humid and damp. Overcast, sometimes that makes things worse. So again, lots of different practices to help get those tomatoes to grow, but if you take those tips I've given you, hopefully you'll have some good harvest of tomatoes here later on in the growing season. If you have questions about growing tomatoes in the ground or in containers, contact your local K-State Research and Extension office for more information. Reporting for K-State Research and Extension in Eagle TV, I'm Holly Dickman.
Don't miss the Green and Growing Show in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Eagle TV. Ellis County Horticulture Agent Holly Dickman will identify common lawn and garden issues while providing up-to-date information. Watch weekdays in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Channel 14 or 614. Green and Growing, brought to you by Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40, and Eagle TV.
With our current weather conditions, it takes a real expert to create landscape that'll thrive. Riedel's Garden Center has the staff with the expertise of water requirements for plants, lawns, and landscapes that'll stand up to our changing weather conditions. With 25 years of hands-on experience, owner Darren Riedel will customize a landscape design and irrigation system to meet your expectations and our climate. It's recommended to protect your lawn using Fertilome products available at Riedel's Garden Center, an authorized dealer. Call or stop by Riedel's Garden Center today.